I became a father this year. Then I became a death row inmate. The story about the space between these two things is quite interesting, I feel. I'd like to share it with you if you have a moment. It began in your typical whorehouse. Purple carpet, weird smell, and hot dogs by the bed. Even though I was 57, I had a piggy bank. It had been in my family for years. All the men who shared my bloodlines had it. They had kept change in it like giraffe necks. Water boiled over in the kitchen and the cat lost some hair, but there was always that piggy bank. I inherited it from my dad, Dugan Jones. He had a closet full of Hawaiian shirts and work boots. When I turned 11, the piggy bank changed hands. I remember the first coin I put in it. It was a nickel. The piggy bank was still in my life up until the day I was arrested. It had contained the change I used to rent a lady's crotch at the chicken ranch. I always thought when a whorehouse was called that, you get a free piece of chicken, but you don't. I was very disappointed. The whore made up for it, though. She was everything I ever wanted in a woman and liked about them. Brave, nice hair, and not too thick lipstick. I was really hard for this woman. She laid me down like a trophy in the attic, and we shored the waves of our wild ocean. She was like a seal staying down so long without air. I think I even saw a mustache appear once or twice. It was like a seal's whiskers barely appearing. Then she would swim down below again. I tickled her after oral, like kids playing in the grass when they're young. She even giggled and tickled me back with my horse in her hand, getting ready to break out of the gate. I envisioned her tits as melting sunsets falling off the earth's face. I imagined the ceiling exploding and clouds falling in on top of my sex energy. Her tits were like toys in my mouth, and I wanted her to grab my ass. She did. I finally just asked her. I said, "Grab my fucking ass, you wild dream. Treat me like a hot broad who is not a man. Hold my ass in your hands and feel the hairs spread." Her sucking and kissing and her everything felt like a solar eclipse. I touched her toes and asked her to dinner. She said the girls were discouraged from having out-of-whorehouse relationships with the client, so she passed. I asked if she wanted to see me cry. She took a pass on that as well. I barraged her with astrological information about myself. I told her I was created under the sign of Aries in the goat ray machine. She didn't understand what I was getting at. I was just trying to put her at ease. My time ran out. The piggy bank was empty and I smashed it against the wall. She picked up the pieces with a broom and escorted me to the door. I saw her shoes for the first time and I wanted to replace them with something sexier. I started saving up again almost immediately. I had a few bills I needed to pay, but once they were settled, I could start saving up for her again. A week or so passed and I drank sardine oil on the couch with olive Rome around me. I was ahead of the game. A trance of church fire engulfing the Romans in my blaze. The stars were in the mirror. That big gold psychotic mirror. If mirrors had babies, they would have been like that woman's eyes. Eventually I saved up for her again, but it was too late. I had been informed of her pregnancy and she wanted nothing to do with me. I knew this couldn't be right, so I got in touch with her on the end of a pier one foggy night in December. The bird's frozen feathers broke under our feet as we hashed it out. It was a strange predicament for both of us to find ourselves in, but we tried to handle it like decent human beings. She said her father made the best split pea soup she's ever had and suggested we go to his apartment for it. I said I needed to know. I needed to know if she wanted me, wanted all this with the baby. She said she did desperately. She was just afraid the years were invisible gnomes on a warpath. I reminded her they weren't. They were ours.